The devices that you own, your smartphone, tablets, electric cars, etc., are limited, but not just up to what the hardware allows. In reality, companies apply in-software limitations, preventing you from utilizing your hardware's full abilities. The new iPhone 14 is a powerful device capable of outstanding performance and visual effects, but try to run an emulator and you'll quickly find it impossible. Not because it can't, but because it won't. Emulators are against the App Store's terms of service. But you own the device. Shouldn't you decide what's allowed to run? Just like people are entitled to privacy, I believe they should also be entitled to control. Let's explain in-software limitations. In-software limitations refers to functionality that a device is capable of, but which you have no way of performing without circumventing access control mechanisms or purchasing an additional service from the manufacturer. An example of an in-software limitation would be BMW's front seat heating subscription, a service charging users $15 a month just to turn on heated seats you already have. Let me clarify that simply purchasing software like buying a video game is not an in-software limitation. You are purchasing a license to use the software itself. You should also consider the purpose for which you bought the device. When you buy a console, there's a trade between you and the manufacturer. The manufacturer sells them at a loss, while you're locked into using their store. It's not an in-software limitation when you can't play another company's games. That's not what the device is for. Cell phones are not sold at a loss. What gives tech companies the right to dictate what you can and can't do with the device you bought? Well, while you own the hardware, the software on your device remains their property. Each device you buy has two parts. The physical hardware, which you do own and is yours to use in whatever way you want, and the digital side, which you can use under the manufacturer's restrictions. This works a lot like rent. You still own all your personal files and data, but the manufacturer owns the house itself and can modify it however and whenever they choose. Currently, nothing stops companies from doing this, allowing them to apply in-software limitations as they desire and simply ignore competition. For example, RCS, Rich Communication Services, is a modern replacement for SMS and MMS, and can be seen as a competitor to Apple's own iMessage. Tim Cook, CEO of Apple Inc., was told in an interview about a situation in which someone was unable to send their mother certain videos due to the lack of RCS on iOS. In response, he said,
"Buy your mom an iPhone."
The only ongoing attempt to change legislation is the Right to Repair movement, focused on removing in-software limitations that prevent hardware modifications and repair. Without laws preventing companies from arbitrarily deciding for themselves what to limit, the rules of storefronts become the rules of platforms, hardware is gated behind subscriptions, interoperability between ecosystems is harmed, and more technical users are prevented from effectively using their devices. So why should we care? First, the lack of control allows companies to change aspects of the device without user consent, such as forced updates, hidden features, forced telemetry, forced online, etc. This also allows companies to revoke features at any time. In-software limitations also make it more difficult for open source and smaller developers. Apple's mandatory Apple Developer Program, which costs $99 a year, discourages apps not designed to make money, which most open source apps are not. Furthermore, because of these limitations, it is hard to see what's going on behind the scenes as to how your devices actually work, what they're doing, and how to troubleshoot them. This prevents users from becoming more skilled with their devices, and prevents technical users from using those skills. Now, personally, as a programmer who's wanted to write an app for every OS I've come across, not being able to run apps I've made on a device I bought and with electricity I pay for without having to get express approval from a corporate entity frustrates me. I'm also worried that as it gets harder for individuals to write software for their devices, less people acquire the technical skills to do so. And on an emotional level, I don't think a device I own should be fighting me. Computers can be doing so much more for us as a species, but we're limiting them for profit. Technology has rapidly advanced and is taking over every part of our lives, but the laws related to copyright and ownership have not advanced fast enough.